How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I've been busy on the Frankenstein Civic and I got some updates for you guys. So let's roll that intro and get into it. Man, it has been a busy day today. So started off the day, I got a notification that a package of mine had arrived in the mail. So I went to check that out and it was what I was hoping for. I kind of nerded out and I bought Hot Wheels Honda Prelude prototype. They haven't released the Honda Prelude casting yet. This is just the prototype, but I tracked it down on eBay, placed the order. It came straight from Malaysia at the Hot Wheels company and it just arrived today. So I was super stoked about that. Had to unbox it right away and have a look at that thing. Then a buddy of mine, turns out he was selling his AEM wideband. It was brand new in box still, so he was getting rid of that. So I hit him up right away. I'm like, hey, I need this wideband. I've been looking for one. I was actually gonna order one online, but he just ended up wanting to sell his. So it was perfect timing, so I scooped that thing up. Stopped by his place and checked out his MR2 for a bit. He's been putting in mad work on that thing over the winter, and we're gonna see a lot more of that thing in spring, so I'm super excited to see what it's gonna look like. So this thing, like I said, is brand new, still in the box. I haven't even opened this thing yet, but it's basically just as he ordered it. He ended up getting a different kind, so that's why he was getting rid of this one. So we got the gauge pod here, and underneath should be everything else. Yeah, so we got the electrical connectors, harnesses, I believe the different faceplate is in here, the white one. I'll probably end up using the black one. The O2 sensor is right here. So that's awesome. So I'll make good use of that. That's something that I was planning to pick up really soon, and it just kind of worked out. So that's something else we can knock off the list because I needed to order one of those. Come over here real quick and we will cross that one off. So as you can see, the list is still pretty long of stuff I need to get done, but most of the engine stuff I'm letting Jared deal with that at Lambda Motorsport. The new pistons, rings, rods, bearings, he's going to be ordering all of that stuff. ARP head studs I'm going to wait on until I get the engine back, same with the gasket and timing kit, and then reassembly. So that's all going to happen later. I still need to find Hasport mounts that'll fit with the H22 in the EK. The current ones that I have do not line up properly, and I actually had to use some sketchy spacers underneath this mount so that everything would line up somewhat. So it's a headache having to mount an engine in this bay with these mounts. It takes me and Tim like 2 hours sometimes just to line up one mount. So that's a bit ridiculous, which is why I want to go with some really good quality Hasport mounts. Right now we're working on fabbing the intercooler piping. Blow-off valve I have, it's a Greddy. We need to mount it to the piping. I'm looking for a tile wastegate. Injectors I need yet, a fuel pump. Thinking I'm gonna go with Walboro 440. I still need to find a wiring harness, or I need to take the existing one and make my own harness. Still need to find a Honda S300. I need to get a new clutch kit, and I need to figure out something for the alternator location, because when we had the turbo mocked up on the block on the engine stand, it was contacting, or basically contacting, the alternator. So either I need to relocate it lower, which may give me the same problem, only it's going to contact the turbo on the bottom instead of on the top, but that may be something that we have to figure out yet too. But yeah, if any of you guys have any of this stuff that you would like to get rid of, definitely drop a comment below or hit me up on Instagram, because I need to start acquiring this stuff pretty quick. I did want to get all of this engine stuff done before I ordered stuff, but a lot of this stuff I'm going to need regardless. So because this is taking a while to get the engine done, I'm going to start acquiring this stuff now. So like I said, if any of you guys have any of this stuff just kind of kicking around that you want to get rid of, let me know, because I might just buy it from you. I think I'm probably missing quite a few things off of this list yet too, but this is a very good start that'll get me going. I know I do want to upgrade the oil pan as well with a baffled oil pan, so the engine's not going to be starving when I'm going around the track, but that's one thing for sure that I'm going to have to add, and then there's probably a bunch of other little stuff yet too. So I also got in touch with a TIG welding shop nearby my place, so if you guys remember the last video, I got started on the intercooler piping on the cold side. I got it all fabbed up with tape and kind of mocked up there, and it was working pretty good, so I got it tacked together. I contacted the guy and he's like, yeah, just bring it by the next day, so got that tacked up right away and got that test fitted today, and I've been working on it for the rest of the afternoon kind of. So I'm going to show you guys where I'm at right now and kind of how I got there, and then kind of what the plan is for the rest of the weekend. Okay, so here's the pipes that I had mocked up before, and they are now tacked together, and then they are attached by a coupler down here. And if we come around this way, these ones are still just taped together, but these are the ones that I mocked up today. So basically I have this one coming off of the intercooler, which I had to lengthen just a little bit because it was contacting this. It was still very close, and actually today I ended up notching this out just a little bit. I just used a Sawzall to get a rough cut in there, and then I sanded it with a flat disc, and that ended up working pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out actually. It doesn't even look that bad. And then yeah, so this pipe comes along, and then I had to add a really small angled piece in there just so that the last pipe would line up with the top pipe. So this part may not look too pretty, but luckily it's going to be pretty well hidden because that's right underneath the frame of the car, so you're not really going to see it. Even if you're up here and you look down, that's kind of right where it's going to be. I don't think anyone's really going to see that, and it's going to function just fine. So I'm actually really happy with the way this is turning out. So my next plan is to bring this pipe by the shop, get him to tack this one together, and then at the same time he might as well fully weld this one because I know this one lines up perfect. So if he fully welds this one, then tacks this one together, I can mock it up one last time to make sure everything's good, and then he can fully weld this one, and then I'll probably end up making a bracket for this guy, probably just on the side here, just to keep it solid. I mean, it's pretty solid as it is right now, but I'd like to just put a bracket in there to be on the safe side, and then that's going to be nice and solid. And then I'm also going to have to figure out the blow-off valve, which I do have, and I do have a flange for it, so I'm going to have to mount that somewhere, probably on this pipe. I don't want it to be in the way of any of this stuff though, so I'm going to have to do a bit of research on that before I make that decision. So my plan for the rest of the evening, it's not terribly interesting, but I just want to get that top pipe prepped and ready for welding. So I basically just have to sand all the paint off around where the guy's going to weld, and then that'll save him a lot of time. So I just need to bring it there and he can weld it up, and then it's good to go. So I'm going to finish that up, get it ready for the welding shop, and then that's basically it. I'm probably not going to have too much more time to work on it today, but I've made some good progress. I don't have too many updates about the engine right now. Last I heard, he was doing some research on getting me some aftermarket pistons. So because the H22 has the FRM sleeved block, it's really hard to find pistons that'll work without actually sleeving the block properly, and that's going to cost way too much to do something like that. So he was actually able to find a set of forged pistons that are compatible with the FRM sleeves. So I was pretty stoked about that. It's the Male Gold series. They make a specific piston for the H22 FRM sleeves. So what I'm going to do is order a set of those, and they're going to be a lower compression piston. So I think this motor, the H22A1, had a 10.1 to 1 compression ratio, and the ones that I'm ordering are going to have a 9 to 1 compression ratio. So that'll bring it down a little bit, and that'll be a bit safer for the boost that I'm going with, and it'll just make it that much more reliable. And I know he was super busy with another customer's Subaru, so he's going to be at that for a while before he can get to mine. But at least I got some updates for you guys. We're making lots of progress, so I'm stoked about it. This intercooler piping was something that was scaring me because of the amount of fabrication that has to go into it. but we're making some really good progress. The cold side's basically done. It just needs to be welded together now. The next thing that I'm gonna have to do is work on the hot side. So that means I'm gonna have to take the exhaust manifold off. I also need to figure out something for the alternator because it seems like it's gonna be in the way of the turbo inlet. If I get a relocation kit for the alternator, it's in the way again. So either it's in the way up here or it's in the way down here. It just seems to be blocking that turbo inlet. So I gotta figure out something for that. Either maybe I don't run an air filter, which is kind of sketch, but it might come down to that, or I have to make like a really tight 90 coming off of the turbo, and then that'll be able to clear the alternator. Something funky like that, I don't know. If you guys have any ideas, I know when we test fit it on the block before, it was an issue that we knew we were gonna have to figure out eventually. So the time's coming, and we got to kind of figure out all those things now. But anyway guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I just wanted to update you guys on a few little things that were going on. I didn't want to bore you guys too much with fabrication work again, since I went through so much of it on the last video. It's basically the same thing, just you cut a piece, you fit it, you trim it, you grind it, you do all that stuff, and it's very time consuming. And like I said, I just didn't want to bore you guys with that kind of stuff, so I figured I would just update you guys on what's going on. We're making lots of good progress, and hopefully I can get some updates on the engine again real soon, and we keep the ball rolling there. And then yeah, once I get everything welded up and we've got the cold side finished, then that's when we can really dig in and get the hot side finished as well. So if you like the video guys, definitely give me a thumbs up. If you're stoked about the build, let me know, give us a comment below. Subscribe if you haven't already. We got lots of content coming, and we'll definitely see you next time.